NCRP Productions presents Unhallowed Metropolis, Secrets in the Sands, Episode 38. Good evening and welcome back to Unhallowed Metropolis. This is Barry, the Game Master. We're doing our series, Secrets in the Sands. I'm going to go around the room, have everyone introduce themselves and their characters, and we will start in.
Hi, I'm Jill, and I'm playing Raya, the Mourner.
Hi, I'm Ayden. I'm the Antiquarian. I'm trying to figure out how to get out of this shit.
And Matt is playing Ayden.
Hi, I'm Michael. I'm playing Dr. Everett Wolfe. Supposedly the doctor that specializes in alchemy, but a lot of shit has happened to him, so who knows what's really going on at this point.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ty. I'm running Ray Callahan, the willing participant.
At this point, it is your choice to be.
Hi, it's Sequoia, and I'm running Frankie, the Undertaker.
Hey, everybody, it's Pedro. I'm playing Dr. Desmond Wright, the medical doctor.
All right, so last session, quite a bunch of things happened. We had the combat with a collection of animates that came across the camp. Our group is now finally setting out from the Bedouins that they started with, where we dealt with the potential zombification of some of the people there and possibly a fix. We'll see what happens in the future if you guys follow up on that. But you are now moving towards one of the places, which is Mourner, that you guys are trying to get information, the reason why the people who came here from London. While we were dealing with that, I want to mention to you guys something that Ayden had said quite a few episodes ago and had talked to you about. He had spoken to you about not animates, not zombies, but he used the term ghouls. And his discussion of the ghouls represented the zombies of this area, but the ghouls hide in caves or in the ground or in pit traps, those type of things, and they will jump out and grab you. So what you guys saw last night, any of the Londoners would describe as animates, but it had that feel of Ayden's ghouls. So you can make that assumption, as you guys will talk with a few of the people here in this Bedouin camp, that is going to be what you're dealing with, is the ghouls. So I may not use it, but you will hear, because I'm not necessarily speaking for everyone in the game, you may hear that term ghoul be rephrased by either Ayden or by Cal or possibly by Ray, but that is what they're talking about. You also notice something starting to make connections with your past. You notice that the ghouls kind of reacted in the same way that the group of animates that were around Cambridge were, which is, initially, it seemed like an all-out attack. But as you guys continued to fight and try and safeguard things, you noticed that though they were attacking somebody who was near and close, they, at some point when you got away from them and released them from fights, they just continued on. Ray actually followed them for a while and has now turned around and is coming back to the camp. In fact, I think at the end of the session, you were already back. Mm-hmm. The group, the horde, the collection, whatever we want to call it, horde for animates in London, so I'm going to generally use that. The horde of these ghouls headed west. Your current direction, at least for plan, is to head south to Mourner. That doesn't mean that has to be where you're going. And Mourner is the term we're using. It's a modern day term representing where it was found, but this is the city of Akhenaten is what you're specifically looking for from what you were given from Grayling to go search out. While we were inside dealing with a number of different things, it came out that the Cambridge incident needed to be explained. So the group of Londoners who were involved in Cambridge, which is Frankie, Raya, and Dr. Wright,
Allegedly.
started talking about, in differing levels of involvement, Raya and Frankie both claimed some, if not complete, responsibility for what happened in Cambridge. Dr. Wright gave a glowing argument against being directly involved, that it was all incidental to what they did. You know that Cal is very angry with this whole situation, has asked you to explain it. That's how this came out. and did finally finish with you, Dr. Wright, explaining the last bits to it. there are things that players at this table who weren't there don't know anything about. So there is still a lot of stuff hidden from Cambridge, but the main portion of Cambridge question is out. Once that was finished, and you noticed that as you guys were talking and Raya stormed out of the tent and eventually came back in, and the group was talking, you did not come back in?
She didn't.
I did
She's
not
still
come
not back in. Okay.
It's like
No.
off sitting on some rock somewhere.
Yes,
something
I
like
did
that.
remember the rocks. I thought she'd come back in.
I'm
You
mad.
noticed. Yeah, I know you're mad. I noticed that, or you noticed that everyone in the tent, the Bedouins who've just had this massive scare of this attack, they're starting to look up and listen to you guys talk, because though they don't understand it, it sounds like oration and anything to get your mind off of it. Finishing off the discussion, you saw Mei Ling point and then speak up and say, Dr. Wolfe, he's been bitten. And that's where we left it off.
Oh, Mei Ling said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all pour our guns on to
Yeah.
So Raya is outside on the rocks. It is cold outside, Raya. You are wearing your mourner's outfit that you normally wear, plus the outer robes. But it is cold, and it is going to get colder for you. We are above the below freezing temperatures that you had heading towards the cistern, but it is still exceptionally cold.
I'll go back in when I'm not angry anymore.
Gotcha. Well, you'll tell us why. That'll probably be at the point where the heat is down. But for the rest of you, how do we react to Mei Ling?
Well,
She recoils.
Well, Wolfe, like, despite this, like, you know, him still being completely withdrawn in his own head and everything like that, looks down to see, like, where the bite is.
Okay.
I'm rushing over to him to look where the bite is too.
Frankie is not worried because thropes can survive animate bites.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm more curious.
oddly, Frankie is calm. Wolfe is calm, but he's been in a weird form of calm this whole time.
Ray was standing outside the tent, and he hears that, and then just goes into a fit of swearing,
Okay.
and
There
then
is
walks
another-
back into the tent.
There is another part of the group, Cephas, who was the individual Bedouin who brought the group who went to go see the Mutasak earlier. Cephas is also bitten. I apologize. In real life, it's been a couple weeks since we've met. I do not remember if the group brought him in here, but he is bitten, and you are
No,
aware.
remember he was the one that was with the not the Sham. What I forget.
Mutasak?
Yeah,
He's
Mutasak,
still with
yeah.
her?
Well,
No,
we
he
had
followed
left
us.
him.
No, he followed us.
Did he actually follow us?
He
I
followed us.
I thought I didn't pay attention to him, so that's why.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
You were.
I remember.
Don't worry, Wolf's left hand just reached out. It's fine. I'm just kidding.
I remember telling you like, "Oh, he's got it. Let's go."
Well, the three of you had made that sidelong climb. So.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, Cephas also is bitten, and because you guys know at the point when that's mentioned, he will re-show his bite to you as well, which of course creates a lot of concern and scream from the group in
Where's
there.
this
Yes,
bite
that
at?
is alarming to
What was that?
Frankie, you
Where's
should
this
take
bite
him out.
at?
His bite. I apologize. I don't remember where, so I believe we're going to put it on the arm.
Cephas
Was-
got it on the arm.
Yeah, it was the arm. I was pretty
So,
sure.
is he paying attention to me right now?
Is he? No, he's being ministered by a few of the women who have come over and are talking to him. Probably no awareness of you.
All right, I'm going to draw my sword and come over there and say, when you're ready, I'll chop it off.
Okay, go ahead and give me a charm roll. And for the people who are not Ayden coming over with a drawn blade inside the tent that's really cramped with people, what is anyone else doing in
I
regards
see him
to
going to.
Wolf? Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
well,
I see him doing that. I don't care what's gonna happen to Seabus, but I'm gonna go over to
Yeah, where-
Wolf.
where is Wolf bitten? He's, you know.
Because that's what I'm curious about.
Wolf's bitten on the leg.
So 19, he's next.
So 19. All right. So he looks up at you in fear, and Ray, you're going to be able to hear that through the tent.
Well, I was
flap.
just curious, like, do I know who's been bitten at this point? Because I kind of,
Well,
I
you
did
know
not
that
see
you-
the point.
You
of-
know that Ray is because you heard Mei Ling say Dr. Sorry,
Dr.
You know
okay, I
Dr.
heard-
Wolf has been bitten because Mei Ling
Okay,
says.
so I was like, you gonna be all right with
So you poke your
all
head
the
in?
things? Yeah, I came in, and you're gonna be all right with all whatever you are and that. And how does that work?
There is crying amongst the women already. Cephas is in fear, and the group of men will look at you. Nobody draws a weapon to defend against it, but Cephas pulls his hand and his arm back away from you, and the leader will ask you, isn't there a cure? Don't you have, and he kind of points in the general direction of these two, don't you have a doctor that can fix it? It's simply a bite.
I'll like 1 moment.
And you'll see me, I'm coming over to Dr. Wolfe, and I'm like, Wolfe, I'm going to go ahead and examine this.
So,
boy.
so traditionally here, if somebody gets bit and it's like a limb, we tend to cut it off because that might save the patient. Is there something more that modern science can do?
Well, considering what we're working with, what I would suggest to you is maybe have one of their blades put on an open fire so you can cauterize the wound.
Okay.
You don't want it bleeding out.
And I should apply a tourniquet above where I'm going to cut, right?
Yes, you should do that. If you wait, I can see to helping that, but really keep an eye on him because, if he starts to go a little...
I got it, Doc.
Oh, okay, perfect. Take
All right.
Frankie with you.
Not
Frankie's got a good eye.
All right.
Pretty close to it.
So I will say,
Range
they're-
going back outside.
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Sorry,
they are.
I didn't want to not answer your question. but
Unfortunately,
everyone's-
they are limited at us when it comes to the bites of the ghouls. We need to do something before the venom spreads and makes him into one of them, and more people get hurt.
So Cephas is trying to hold it, and his voice cracks a number of times as he asks you, is it always so? Does everybody? There's...
Yes.
So he looks at one of the women, apologizes to her, and gets up, stands up, and looks to you. Where should we do this?
Let us go do it outside.
Up stands Marud, who walks out with you. So that the group, as they're moving out, the group is also going to see Billings stand up and go out after them unless somebody specifically stops him. Is Frankie in this charge as well?
Yeah, Frankie's gonna follow Cephas.
Okay.
So I'm going to apply a tourniquet, like above the bite.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically I'm going to have him kneel down.
Marud says, Ayden, do you think we should do it over something solid? Possibly one of the rails for the camels.
Okay. I'll walk over there then. And then I have people holding him and somebody pull the arm out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll hold his arm and I'll say some of my Egyptian words that I know.
Oh no.
It's good. I learned some nice ones. I'll say help and then like this, and then I'll hold his arm down against the wood.
Okay.
Is there any campfires outside or fires for
There are no fires outside.
Okay.
The only fire is in the main tent.
I'll tell him to be right back. I'm going to heat my sword
Okay.
over it till it's kind of got a nice...
So,
Can I apply the tourniquet while we're with
yeah, and you'll hold it, and he's crying. He's crying, he's not blubbering, but tears are rolling down. He'll look at his arm and then look away. He's talking, but you and Marud, as far as you know, don't know what he's saying.
I'll just keep
Did
saying...
Ray go with? Ray did not go with, correct?
I just watched them walk by, basically. And
Okay.
I know what's going to happen.
At this
there.
point, as you guys are just talking to him in English, he's talking to you in Egyptian, and just trying to keep him remaining calm, you will catch Billings, who will walk around to look at the arm, and he's not impolite, he's not rude, and he's not in anyone's face, but he walks around staring at it. Now you, Raya, from your rocks, have seen, or at least heard, if you turn and look, you've seen them come out. So again, you've got one, you can be fairly certain what's going on. There's an arm being put over, and Frankie's the one holding it, so you know it's not from stealing.
Yeah, I figure he's probably been bit.
So
I'll say in my Egyptian, I'll just say it's okay over and over again.
Billings will ask you, what shouldn't we give him something? Anesthetic? I'm sure one of the doctors has something.
Well, it's funny. When he comes up, I'm going to hand him my flask and tell him to take a couple of drinks.
Who?
Me.
Oh,
Up to him.
To Cephas. As you come
Cephas,
back out
yeah.
with the heated blade?
Yeah.
All right, but before you come back out, that's what Billings will ask.
Go ask him.
I absolutely. So you, Dr. Wright, working on Dr. Wolfe. What are you guys doing? Because Dr. Wolfe is there as well, working on himself.
Wolfe's Wolf's not even doing anything. He's just watching this as this is going on. He's just still like.
So there is a ring around him, not watching, but being away from you. I mean, it's a small tent, and everybody is trying to be as far away and still be in the tent. So go ahead and give me a medicine roll.
That's it, you said. Also, don't worry, Michael. I have Angel.
I think that ship has sailed.
No, it prolongs his suffering for a little while. I mean, your health.
Yes.
Same thing. Medicine roll?
Yep.
It's gonna be an 18.
So with an 18, first thing that catches your eye as you look down will be that scar on his face, which again has that terrible look to it. It's not necrotic. It's not openly rotting. It's brown. It's not black or yellow or green, but it doesn't look healthy. It looks crisp. As you look at his leg, you would expect the bite to have some kind of residual something coming out, something oozing from it. If not, you would expect there to be some kind of redness starting to leach out into the skin around the bite. He has neither. But the bite is not closing.
I'm gonna look up at Dr. Wolfe and then look down at the bite. 'Cause I don't think we've done this yet, to my knowledge. And I'll say, Dr. Wolfe, could I have your arm for just a moment?
And you will feel a tap on your shoulder, and Ayden, and you'll see Billings come in. Doctor, we need some kind of a knockout drug, anesthetic, something of the sort. A man's having his arm removed. They're doing it without any kind of painkillers.
Billings, goddamn you. No, I'll say,
I hope that got picked up on the mic.
I'll say, yes, okay, Billings, one moment, and I'll open my pack or my valise real quick. I'll take out a hit of laudanum.
Okay.
And just put it, like, unceremonious, I'll just put it into, like, a little vial. And I'll be like, okay, yeah, have him drink this.
Oh, very good, very good. And he disappears.
I think that was one dose. I didn't measure very well.
Here, have a tablet.
Yeah.
Are you sure
So
it
Ayden,
wasn't
you'll
meth?
see now Billings leave out just as you're starting to come out with.
And everything.
All right.
And for Frankie, you and Marood, Billings brings out the laudanum and says, can either of you speak to him?
Yeah, I got this.
Okay, so he'll hand you the vial.
And I'll kind of mime drinking it, and I'll say like this.
Okay.
Do you have,
So so he takes his hand that is not being stretched and held, and will drink it. He makes a terrible face in a turn away from it, but seems to be at least keeping it down. He is still blubbering. There's moisture from his nose, a bit from his mouth, definitely from his eyes. He is very, very upset.
Meanwhile, in Dr. Wright's mind, he's like, wait, was that the laudanum or the brown LSD? Huh.
Either way, he won't worry.
So Ayden,
You're about to
gonna
have a
come out
fucking
with the
blast,
heated
my
blade. And Dr. Wright. What are we doing with Dr. Wolfe now?
So I asked for your arm.
Which, Wolf just gives the one that's like closest to you, so whichever one.
I check his pulse.
His pulse is nice and strong.
He has a pulse.
He does have a pulse.
Well, that's even more baffling.
You freak of nature.
I'm just baffled at what I'm like, well, why is the blood not pumping then? Maybe I should just stab him in the stomach and see what comes out. No, that's bad math for science. I'll say, well, damn, that would have explained something.
Ray, what are you doing? You're inside. Are you watching?
Outside.
He's outside.
You are back outside. Okay.
Yes.
So are you watching them at distance, Marood and Frankie, and now Ayden walking out there with a sword that's glowing red in the...
I think I'm gonna go hang out by the rock that Raya is sitting on.
Okay. So you hear a noise approach you, and as you look up, it's Ray, which is interesting because he's not that noisy. For being as big of a man, he does not approach you making a whole lot of noise. He's not Marood.
So probably guess that one's been bitten.
I figured as much.
Dr. Wolfe has also been bitten. How does that work
Well,
with his,
I don't think being bitten affects them like it affects everyone else.
that makes some sort of sense.
I think being what they are, it prevents them from turning, so they just heal from the bite.
Right, of course, he's not healing right now, so...
Well, I'm not sure what's going on with him. I'm not sure why he's not healing. He's supposed to be healing. In all the time I've known him, I've never seen this happen.
End of the day, that's neither here nor there. Is this... How long have you been with this group? Because right now it seems like you're all at each other's throats and you're not working together.
It didn't start out that way. I've been with this group since it started.
And Dr. Wright has always been, well...
He's normally not as insufferable as he's been here. He's selfish, and he makes bad decisions, and he's always done that in the entire time that I've known him. Even when I started working for the Grayling family, who we're all working for, Dr. Wright has always been connected with that family, and he's always been selfish and made bad choices, but he's never been as bad as he is here. The desert's bringing out the worst in all of us.
I sure as hell know I'm tired of it. Doesn't seem to matter where I go. Friggin' fame of the Mediterranean champion follows me everywhere.
I think that the faster that we can investigate the ruins, and the faster we can meet the airship and get out of here, the better.
Well, that's definitely true enough. I've been trying to figure out whether or not I'm going back to London with you all, but...
I'm not.
You won't be.
I won't be going back to London with the group. I'm not sure how far I'm going to go back with the group, but I'm not going back to London. There's nothing left for me there.
Well, that's rather unfortunate. Among you and Dr. Wolfe are pretty much the only ones I feel like have anything left of their heart.
Oh, well, thank you. I take that as a compliment. I failed at my job. I let somebody who meant a great deal to me that I was supposed to be protecting, I let them die. And I couldn't do anything to prevent his death. And it was completely my fault. So I failed at my job. And I really thought that coming here would help redeem me, and be my penance for letting him die. And it hasn't made anything better. It's made everything worse.
Penance, that's something that's hard to come by. One thing that I've learned over the years that I've been around the Mediterranean here in Cairo, it's the past always seems to come back and haunt us. It just, sometimes you just need to go back and face whatever it is. Whatever haunts you, whatever ails you, there is no running. And trust me, I've been around the Mediterranean. Hell, I went from damn Ireland all the way down to damn Cairo. And, well, my past has come with me every step of the way.
Well, I don't even know if I'm technically a mourner anymore because I failed so badly. I don't know if I can go back. I don't know if they'll want me back. I don't know if I want to be back. And I definitely can't associate with Dr. Wright or with the Grayling family anymore.
I don't know much of mourners. I've only had very, very few encounters with them. But I have a feeling that if you were to return to them and seek forgiveness, that they would see something in you. Your mission may have been failed, but good people seem to always find a way. And regardless of what sins they've had in the past, a good person can be seen from a mile away.
I hope so. The person that I was protecting, that I let die, meant more to me than I'm supposed to allow. Those of us mourners, ones who've taken on the quiet service, we're supposed to remain chaste. We cannot marry. We cannot fall in love. And as much as I would never admit this to anyone else, and I don't know why I'm admitting it to you. I was in love with Alistair, and I think he was in love with me, although he was much too proper to ever make me break my vows. And I let him die. I let him down. I couldn't save him, and I'll be doing penance for that for the rest of my life.
Ray's gonna cry at this point.
Is this a full breakdown at this point?
Not full breakdown, but he does the sniffle and he says, "I'm sorry to hear that." And he just keeps saying, "I'm sorry," and Ray walks away. Like, I don't think I need to roll anything for that. But
No, not at all.
Ray, this breaks Ray, and for more than one reason. But
I'm not a crier or a hugger.
Say that as he's walking away.
Wow.
at this point, he laughs. He's like, "I don't expect you to be, but that hits home more than you know."
I just nod, and I'll stay up there on the rock. And
Ray's gonna go back to the tent at this point.
All right. So, while this is going on, Ayden, you're coming out with the red glowing sword.
Meanwhile,
Billings approaches you and asks, so tell me, are you intending to slice the arm off with that, or are you going to strike with the front end and then cauterize with the back end? What's the purpose for the flame?
Can I sense motive on Billings?
From this distance, you would have to know that he's coming back again.
I'm gonna look at him.
my left arm just instinctively starts reaching out towards Billings and trying to...
Give me a reason,
I'm
Barry.
gonna kind of look at him like, and in my mind, it's like, wait, is he serious or is this like?
So go ahead and give
But
me.
I know what he's talking about.
Do you have
and-
psychology?
No, I do not.
All right, give me a wits perception.
I'll know what Billings wants to know.
Because he's evil now.
19.
You guys are laughing.
It's
but I'm
Bonagall the
looking
whole time.
So with a 19,
We're gonna talk.
something that you have observed of Billings just in general. Definitely intelligent. Definitely business savvy. Not so necessarily much street savvy. And he seems to have some difficulty dealing in social circles completely correctly. So, for example, etiquette-wise, he is the epitome. He does not do anything wrong. Simple etiquette. Come in, correct knife, fork, glass, correct platitudes coming in, correct pleasantries going out. But when it comes to things, it is odd to you, even for a man who might be homebound in London, it seems odd to you that he is so unaware and thus curious about so many things. To you, he strikes you as being one of the small children that you work with, where he just is a sponge for anything and everything. You can see that he has the etiquette not to go, why, which a 6-year-old might do. But he does continue to ask. And
So,
again, never rude and never obnoxiously so. It may be perceived that way only because you're catching it in a different mood.
so hearing that, I'll be like, Mr. Billings, the sword here is known as a kopesh. Many Westerners mistaken it as it being like a sword in the sense that it slashes or pierces. In reality, it is more equivalent to an axe. The angle, the curve of the blade, and the way it's swung, it's more axe-like in what it does. So we do not need to break the bone, per se. If my swing is true and correct, we should just cut through instantly.
And this is something you've done before? The slicing off of an arm or an appendage that's been bitten?
Yes, the desert is a very dangerous place.
Very good, very good. And again, the question, I apologize, I'll ask again though, you have it red fired hot, and you guys have not stopped walking. He didn't
Right.
stop you, but he says, it's red fired hot. Are you striking, are you chopping with the heated blade, or do you intend to chop at the forefront of the blade and then use the heated portion to cauterize?
Yes, basically that.
Do you think it would be an affront to the young man if I were to watch and not be part of the ceremony?
I think that he probably has more worries on his mind.
Very good. I shall stay out of your way. And as you walk up to him, he stops behind Frankie, right? Because it would be Frankie holding in the back end. Stops behind Frankie by about 10 feet. But
Okay.
you can see that it would be a good angle. So, what do you do?
So I'll offer the gentleman if he wants some alcohol.
So,
From my
so
flask.
Seepa's, he looks at the alcohol and he says,
I'll say
more?
maybe not, Alistair. He had laudanum.
Okay, sorry.
So you take it back from
Yeah.
Mrs. Holding? Okay. He nods. He seems to be calmer, little
Yeah.
less tears. The eyes are not completely focused, but as soon as he catches the red from the blade, the eyes look to it.
And so I'll put my hand there, and I'm going to say like a little Islamic prayer.
Very good.
And then
he shuts his eyes, and Frankie, if you see, he shuts his eyes,
And
and,
then
you
I'll-
can feel the tense, but it's not a retracted tense. He holds it there.
And then I'll, like, as I've learned, I'll kind of take just barely put it down where I want to, and then I'll pull it up and just...
All right, go ahead and give me yours. Is it close combat? Is that what we're doing?
I have
weapon. Give me your
melee.
melee weapon skill.
We'll find out if I can regrow fingers.
So I'd like to spend... I
There
don't
goes
think it's...
Frankie's fingers.
Alright, let's roll those bones. Oh, I can keep them.
Yeah, you
I'm gonna
could.
spend one more, because that was actually worse.
make your own set of knucklebone dice.
Line as he's
Thank you.
taking, he strikes up and he's like, wait.
You have an infinite number
Please
of
don't,
fingers.
Phil.
9, so that's 15. So 16, 17, 18. That I feel like is a good strike. Let me just make sure I didn't have... Oh, and I get one more because it is...
Is it your favorite weapon?
Oh, no, I decided to go... Nope, I decided that's for my pistol, so now it's just going to be 18.
Friendly fire.
All right. So with an 18, striking at an
Go to
armor
cut it
6.
off, and I just pull out my pistol.
He was never gonna make it through the night.
So now the big question is going to be damage. The 18 will be a solid strike.
Okay, so...
You gotta get like.
He is unmoving.
Would you like at least an incapacitating wound?
Oh no, you need a 21 to clean cut it.
Alright, that's good.
Alright.
Does
so-
heated blade add any bonuses?
Yeah, there you go.
What's the fire damage?
That would be bad. That would be the burning.
and does it do an additional 5d6 damage if it crits?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to know.
These are the
So,
questions.
it's +4, then what's SR, the...
Oh, that's gonna be your standard roll.
Oh, okay.
So it's gonna be +4. The weapon is a +4 weapon.
Right.
All right. So you're gonna add that to 2d10 plus your vitality.
There's no minus for like arms, is there?
No. The minus is to hit, not damage. Yeah, your vitality.
Fortunately, I do have deadly. So... 8, 9, +1, plus my vitality.
Yep.
2, 3, so... 22 total.
Thank God. So you solidly slice through it, and of course he screams, and there's nobody in the camp that doesn't hear that.
And then...
And then you cut to it. All right. So he screams for a little bit longer, and then passes out. The weight falls back into your arms,
I'll
and
catch
Marud,
him.
and Marud
Yeah.
will then hold the arm as well. So the two of you will hold his weight, which is
Yeah.
nothing. Either of you could easily lift him, you or Marud.
Where should we take him?
Probably to... if they have a tent where they treat their sick or wounded.
They have
What?
so they have sleeping tents. You know this, so they're going to have an eating tent and 1 or 2 sleeping tents, potentially an animal's tent, which they have, and then you're learning, because it wouldn't have been something that you would have done a whole lot with. The Mutasak also seem to always have a tent somewhere.
All right.
But you're assuming the sleeping tent is probably where you would take them. But are you taking them there? Are you taking him there?
We should probably have the doctor look at him before we dump him somewhere.
So you guys will then start bringing his now unconscious body back in.
Who
So,
grabs the arm?
Dr. Wright,
Nobody.
inside.
Yes. Okay, so he has a pulse.
Yeah, Wolfe is just like staring off into the distance. There is one moment when you start to go down that his left hand actually comes down and grabs your shoulder a little too tightly, but then it lets go and slides away. But Wolfe doesn't seem to be even paying attention to that.
And I don't even pay attention to the fact that you're about to kill me. I'm just like, oh, right, my boy, yes, we're gonna make sure you're all right. Oh, you're
Wolfe's arm trying to grab at your throat.
No playtime. So
Dr. Wolfe, I need to focus. Just hands to yourself now.
I am baffled, Dr. Wolfe. You should be bleeding. You should be healing. This is interesting, to say the least, but And then I'll look around. Is there any English-speaking people around us?
Mei Ling is there, Cal is there, Billings is not, Marud is not. Nope, there's just Mei Ling and Cal.
Okay, well, shit.
And they are, as you take that look around, both of them are watching intently.
Actually, I don't care about Mei Ling. Mei Ling's cool.
No, she's the narc, though.
Yeah, that's true. She's the narc. No, so I'm... Wolfe. I'm just crouching, looking up at you. You have to have some thoughts on what's going on. This is not you, Wolfe. The you I know would be in that corner right there in your book with your little alchemy kit out, trying to figure out why this, and I'll poke at the leg, is not healing.
By the way, when he pokes me, do I even feel anything?
Well, that's my question. Do you poke the wound or you just poke the leg?
I am actually going to poke the wound because I'm curious if he feels any pain. I'm not like...
Ew.
No, I get you. You're not gouging it.
Yeah.
No, you know, it's more of a...
You feel it, but not as anything beyond just an awareness.
Yeah, it's just like if I had just tapped my
Yep.
arm right there.
Exactly.
The audience at home can't see me tapping with my eraser on my arm.
So Cal, as you're speaking, Cal comes over and says, I've got to ask, are you thinking of removing the leg?
Cal, no, we're not thinking of removing the leg.
You have some way to save him? Why didn't you give it
Cal,
to Cephas?
would you take Mei Ling and perhaps these folk here and go relax? I wish to speak, Doctor, we're conferring. I would prefer it if you would take everybody and calm the masses.
Cal just gives you a very weird look and then turns towards the tent and then walks off.
Please
and
go.
Cal does begin talking.
Please go away, Cal. I'm conferring with a fellow
Professionals.
Yeah.
I politely said, "Fuck off."
So there is
Well, it's interesting that Cal isn't knowledgeable about thropes then. So that's interesting to note because Cal has been pretty knowledgeable about a lot of other
Have
things.
we openly talked, to my knowledge, we have not openly talked about you being a thrope in front
I
of
think
Cal?
everyone saw me transform and I was beaten down.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
everybody knows.
They know
Yep,
he's a
that's
thrope.
right. They know something's wrong.
I didn't see
That's right.
anything.
I don't know about that. I don't know what I saw. I'm pretending I didn't see whatever the fuck that was.
You're
missed the
right.
Cambridge
Cal is aware of a
conversation,
lot of stuff. That's something that you guys will have to ponder over then.
I'm
You're
not
right.
pondering
Cal
a
would
second.
know about that. So would Marud.
I ate some bad, chicken marsala. I don't know. I don't remember much.
But Cal will be talking. There is a light talk amongst them until everyone hears the scream from outside. At which point it gets quiet in the tent. But
Thank
continue.
God. So
Well, it was not a cacophony before then. It was just low talk and even a little bit of laughter, but that's gone.
we're trying to do science here. They're all the best. And so I'm saying, Wolfe, there is very few things that I would ever say this about, but I am not actually an expert in this area of medicine. I dealt with pediatric patients for 10 plus years. I've helped people from lords to people on the street. But I don't have any experience healing or fixing thropes. And unfortunately for that, you are the only one with the knowledge here, and I can Patel are going through a bit of a rough time. But what I am going to say to you is yes, you are having a rough time. But do you know what I've always seen pull you out of anything, Wolfe? That is a mystery involving your little project. And what we have here right now is quite an interesting project. So, Wolfe, let's think for a moment. What did we hit you with? We hit you with tranquilizer. Didn't seem to have much effect. They hit you with tinsy fly venom. That would kill a normal man. That would maybe even harm a throat, it seemed. But even that seemed not to do very much. But then we hit you with Werther. Well, that caused massive hemorrhaging, and then there's the reversion serum, which, well, I mean, that should have, taken you out of that state. Now, we got the venom, which represents death. We have the tranquilizer, which should put you to sleep. We have the Werther bleeding reversion serum stopping the transformation. I suppose the Werther could have pushed all of that out in a sense, but then it should have healed you. You should be better. You should be back to you. Do you think massive hemorrhaging, maybe perhaps tinsy fly venom, dampening your healing, dampening your hardness?
As he's talking, I reach down for my bag's probably not there, but his bag's there. I'm sure he has like a a needle to draw stuff from. So I take one out and
You just went in your bag.
Yep, I just grab one of these. I make sure it's like empty, but basically, I like stick it in a by my leg, and I just draw, and the blood does come out when I draw.
When
right?
you draw, blood comes out.
Yep, and I just hand it to him so that he can observe to look at it. It's like,
of course, it's not full light in here, but there seems to be, to your eye, it does not seem to be normal blood. There is stuff. Now, when I say floating in it, there's nobody, not a doctor, not a scientist, that would see it. But because you are so used to seeing it, you see some difference here. But again, in this light, you're not even 100% certain. Because you're maybe expecting to find something.
I looked at my own blood under a slide. Don't have a microscope, so...
There seems to be something in it.
Yes, there's particles in. It's like something else that looks almost like oil, but...
I will rifle into my own bag and pull out the vial that I took of his blood as well from earlier.
And that was earlier, but post all the shots.
Let me see here.
I
Did
believe
I
it
ever
was.
get
That's what I'm
any
asking.
blood beforehand? I don't think so. Yeah, so I'll take that out, and I want to look to see if it's going to be older, but do I still see
similar? Yeah, and again, the light. So the light in here is from a pan fire, plus additionally 3 guttural lamps and 2 candles. So I mean, it is well lit in the terms that nobody's not seeing things, but you have the dancing shadows and that type of stuff.
Yes, we need a little bit more technology, a little bit more on the ways of help to be able to decipher what's in this more, I suppose. But do you have any thoughts, Dr. Wolfe? You've studied this. You know the strain you put in yourself.
There's almost like a sad chuckle as there. I didn't even know I was putting this into myself. I thought it was something else entirely.
This is happenstance.
Wolf sort of in his thing is just at this point. He's just like looking up at the sky. It's like,
which is the ceiling of
the ceiling at the tent as he's just in there and just. Dr. Wright, do you know when Ayden was talking about? I don't even know how long ago it was. How long have we been in this desert? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't at this point, anyway. But when Ayden was mentioning about the Philosopher's Stone, the thing was that people believed that they were going to create the Philosopher's Stone, and that's how the throat serum came into being in the first place. Longevity, enhanced physical capability, although at the cost of a decrease of intelligence and intellect, a failed philosopher's stone, but one they thought was actually very useful. Tropes were a means to an end, right? I believe that we were on the way to actually doing something more, something better. Humankind shouldn't become immortal, right? If we go into stasis, if we become static, there's no change, there's no growth, there's no innovation. Evolution, right? We need to evolve. And I believed at the very least that if there was a chance to become that, if the Thrope Serum had the capabilities to make us stronger, faster, maybe if we tweak it right, smarter, immune to the animate disease, immune to the blight, it should be a catalyst to jump forward humankind's evolution thousands of years in an instant. That's what I was trying to make. I was trying to make a catalyst. And I thought I had made it. But no. Another failed experiment. But different. I thought I had made the true serum, but that legendary elixir, but things have theories. And especially when we were facing off against that demon, whatever it was. My form changed, and I hadn't even transformed. Musculature like this. I'd never exercised a day in my life like this. I'm a very sedentary man. But in a rapid moment, in minutes, I had changed. I think I was on the right path, right? And the only thing I can say is that whatever happened was some kind of evolutionary reaction. I don't know why it means that I'm not healing, but I'm not bleeding from my wounds. I can draw my blood out. That doesn't seem to stop it. I think the reason why the reversion serums in both doses didn't turn me back was because it already hit me with it once. And I evolved. And I adapted. So it won't work on me anymore. At least not in the way that I thought it would.
Right? Do you stay completely focused on him through the whole talk? Or do your eyes wander at all?
No, I'm focused on him.
Very good. Ray, do you come in the tent at any point, or do you continue to stay out there getting yourself under control?
Once I'm I wasn't broken down.
I understand.
I'll walk back in. The only
I want to
thing.
be clear, I was not bawling.
Hey, leave me alone. When I walk in, I definitely take my sleeve and I rub it across my eyes. But after that, I'm just I'll probably pick up bits of it.
If you come in, as you come through, Cal will immediately give you the finger nod to come over to
I swear to
Cal.
God, if there's another problem. And then I'll walk over to Cal.
And Cal will just quietly tell you the doctors are discussing. You should give them their portion. And just pointing to, as you notice, not like there's a huge distance, it's 4 or 5 feet, but there is a space around them that nobody's in.
You've got to be kidding me. Is there a comfortable place for me to sit down in the place we are? Okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
absolutely. Cal's face.
That's all it took. He started to reach the roof, and it's there's a seat right over here. It's oh, okay, thank you. It's just
So back to the doctors, if there is more.
Yeah, at this point, that's where Wolfe is. It's just I don't know. But this isn't evolution anymore. I don't know if it's been burnt out now. Maybe the Werther just pushed so hard that he couldn't do anything anymore. And now I've become the thing I was trying my damnedest to not be. This eternal, static leper.
That, I think, might be one way you could look at it, but the way I just heard the story was, and you said it yourself, you succeeded, Wolfe. evolved, and this is another step. There's no telling that this is your last step in evolution. You look what you survived. Sure, maybe you're not turning into a big, hairy creature, but look, perhaps you have some of the benefits of the evolution, and you can still keep your brain.
No, I don't know if I do.
That's the key, though, isn't it? You don't know. So what are you going to do? Sit there and wallow until you either keel over, or worse, sit there for eternity, stagnant like you said you don't want to be? Or will you ride this until you can't anymore? Will you step up and find out why? Because even if you never find out why, won't you be happier trying? Isn't that better than remaining stagnant?
Roll my melancholy.
Absolutely, and that's the point at which Ayden and the rest come in.
Well, you guys give us a minute.
I throw something at Dr. Wright.
I made it. So, I want to ask you, Barry, if you
Yep.
would allow me to do an alchemy roll, just to see if this, like, him talking in this conversation might have inspired him with some idea, which
Sure.
might be the trigger of him coming out of his melancholy.
Sure.
Okay.
Eureka! No, we're in Cairo.
Well, I'm gonna still roll my chemist twice, just for. Well, actually, no. I'm just gonna roll this. Yeah, that's 19.
So if you had time and a space, you're starting to think about. So remember what Werther is. Werther is the other side of Maiden's Heart. Maiden's Heart allows you to ignore pain, have a higher threshold, replace vitality, some of the things that the Thrope Serum does.
Right.
Think of Werther as being a rotten Maiden's Heart.
Right.
So
Which
possibly
I
if you had the time and had the ingredients and could test them somewhere, you might be able to see how they work. Now, if I remember correctly, you have not only no more of your serum, but have not been able to recreate it either. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah. No. It's
So-
because it is basically the true serum. It's
But
like
in
literature.
you have a fairly good idea what was in there. And so you do think that were you given time in a well-ordained lab, you could probably at least have some indication of what's going on with you. Something that will click immediately if you're going to allow this to push you forward is he jabbed you in an open wound. You felt it. That's Maiden's Heart. As a thrope, you feel pain.
Right.
You just don't give a rat's ass about it. But you felt an awareness, not pain. That's Maiden's Heart, not Werther.
And there's a moment where he's just thinking about that.
There it is.
Right? Can you do me a favor? You have a reflex hammer in there.
Yes, of course I do, and I'll flip it out.
I want you to hit me in my knee as hard as you can.
For science?
For science.
Oh, real bad.
Get my reflex hammer that oddly looks like a sledgehammer.
Everyone, science is about to happen. Wham!
And as you pull back, pretty much the entire tent of the non-English speakers are all going to look and then watch. Now, go ahead and give me a roll, because if you're winging back that far, because that's not what anyone does with a reflex hammer normally.
Excuse me, did I not mention that I was in pediatrics?
This was all just a plan so that I could kick him super hard.
I have expert aim.
That's what happened to me at work.
Wait, what am I rolling on? Like an unarmed?
Yeah.
Or is this
Well, it's melee.
medicine?
It's melee.
Medicine?
All right.
I'm being a real.
I'll give you medicine.
I'm being a cheeky bastard, but I'm gonna take it. Oh yeah, that's a spicy roll. All right, that's a 23.
So yeah, solid
reflex. Off the chart.
right in that space where you're supposed to hit on the cap, and
Yeah, well, the knee kick says it's supposed to. But is there any pain?
none,
No pain.
none.
None at all. And Wolfe.
Now this is effectively a rubber mallet.
Yeah,
that actually swishes unlike a standard rubber mallet does.
Someone with rubber, that's
Well,
not gonna stick.
Yes.
Well-
yes.
No way. Those things are hard.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah.
Right. I'm
Yeah.
saying, as hard as he hit, you should feel something. You have awareness.
Yeah, it is like something impacted me. There should at least be that sensation that blooms out from it or anything like that. And Wolf's just looking at it. And it's just like, well, I'll be darned. No pain.
None at all.
That's why I didn't feel the bite.
And you didn't. You don't even remember getting it.
Interesting.
Cephas is out. As you two are talking, Marood will come over to you. In vision, you'll notice that Billings will come in, go over towards Mei Ling. Frankie does.
I set him down, and then I stand over him.
And Marood sits down with him, brings him toward you and says, Doctor, you'll need to take a look at this one. The cauterization seems to have worked. There's not an extreme amount of blood.
Wonderful. Yes, I will be with him in a moment. We're conferring. Thank you, Marood.
And he looks at you with that dead stare that he has, and he looks at Dr. Wolfe. Dr. Wolfe, do you believe there's a problem with us interrupting? This poor man has just had his arm removed.
But Wolf's like caught in like his own thing, like his mind's firing again, everything's going.
I believe,
and then
I believe
as soon-
Doctor.
Yeah. When Marood asks him, he's like, and he sees the man over there, and he's just like, oh, good lord.
I'm going to go tend to this man. I want you to go back into your thoughts.
Very good.
And then
yes.
you literally turn around in your seat because he's right there.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going up to Dr. Wolfe and saying, so what are we going to do about that?
About what?
Your bite mark?
Oh, that will be fine. Oh.
We should remove it.
Why?
Alright, Ayden, it's fine. And then I'll wink at you.
And Raya comes in at that point. So the group is back in the tent. It's definitely the mood has changed again. A number of the women have come over to watch. Nobody's getting in your way, but they've come over to at least watch what you're doing. And are you going to minister to the stump now?
Yeah. So I'll put away my newfound weapon, the little reflexor.
The reflexor.
Go ahead and give me a medicine roll.
Doctor, you'll find I did an excellent job. I might not have fancy school medicine, but my medicine of 1 for watching you has made me a far better.
You have technically a doctor. The power invested in me, I give you a doctorate. There you go. Go do your good work. Not in London. In Egypt. You have an Egyptian doctor.
Dr. Ayden.
It's a thing. We do it in London all the time. Don't worry. Do I actually care? Yeah, I'll use one of my personal. Actually, no, wait. I have a reroll from my actual skills. Okay, perfect. 21.
So again, I have not ever had a appendage removed or cauterized, but you know what to do. You're able to set it, rebandage it, clean it, set it, rebandage it, all of the things that need to be done. You feel fairly good on the things that you would have Ayden tell the people who are going to take care of him.
I will tell Ayden that was a very fine cut.
Thank you, Doctor.
So at this point now, time will pass as everyone's starting to get calm. We're all back in the tent. Jabril is the leader, right?
Ayden, have our Bedouin friends put together that Dr. Wolfe was bitten?
I don't think so.
We should probably keep it that way.
Yeah. That sounds good.
So Jabril will come and say, my friends, you can't leave tonight. Would you enjoy the tent here? And we shall head out in the morning.
Thank you.
And bit by bit, people, the Bedouins start leaving the tent. So
One
Go ahead.
quick thing: if Wolfe doesn't think about it, I will say we should tend to his leg a little bit.
Okay.
So I'll bandage and clean it.
Yeah.
and
Well,
whatnot.
Wolf,
If
Wolf is in like his mind palace right now.
I
Just
feel like that's what I'm doing, just while he's in there. I just kind of go down and I just bandage it, clean it out.
I'm
a
not
little.
sure, Doctor. Are you sure we can't remove it?
oh, I'm sure we could, but do we need to?
Now, Dr. Carter.
pretty good for his
time.
I
Ayden
know.
Carver.
I know you're a new doctor, and it's all fun and games, and we love taking off limbs, but we got to do it sparingly.
Okay.
I know it's fun. You get one down, you want to do the next. I know.
So I'll ask the group if you guys remember, we lost 2 Bedouins from this camp to bites. Did we behead them?
Yeah, I think Raya did.
Oh, I shot one of them. Didn't I?
So
Yeah.
they are all right. So as the group is leaving, one of the men will come over and you guys will see it if you're watching. Will come over and say something to Cal. Cal will nod once, speak into Marood's ear, and Cal and Marood will get up and leave with the Bedouins in mass. The men follow out the women. If anyone's watching, Billings also gets up, not immediately, but also heads out.
Well, Billings can't go anywhere, so I'm just gonna go follow him.
So and then you follow Billings?
Yeah.
So Billings follows them. He's not being sneaky in any way, but he's walking out with them. The Bedouins are talking. At this distance, you can catch a good percentage of it. And what they're doing is they're going to go bury the 2 that are there.
All right.
So they head into the camel's tent. They grab the tools. Billings goes into the tent with them. When they come out, Billings is carrying a shovel as well. They head over, they go off the side. You know how they will put their dead in the ground, which they do. It's a couple of hours of doing that. You know that some kind of a ritual is going to be done the next day, and the shovels are left to mark where the grave is.
Right.
They come back, Billings now, when he comes out of the tent, he says, "Oh, Ayden, hello."
Oh.
And do you go with him to watch the burial?
No.
You're
Actually,
gonna head back?
Are you still outside?
No, she's inside.
I was gonna go just sit somewhere where I can watch everything going on. Make sure.
If you're not moving, it's cold outside. We are getting down to that freezing level now.
I was gonna sharpen up my sword.
Very
and
good.
Stuff, so
You can
I
do that.
figured
You can do that outside or inside, but outside is fine. You can watch them.
Okay.
Again, it's roughly 2 hours. They get it finished. They lay the weapons. They lay the shovels down, and they come back to the tent in a split. The Bedouins will go to their 2 tents, which I think I told you originally, but their 2 tents, and Cal, Marood, Billings will go back into the tent. They won't come over to you, so...
And I assume it's like a Muslim burial, so no marking, and they're facing towards Mecca. Okay.
The basics. So, you guys lay down. Is anyone doing anything, setting watch, drinking something, taking drugs? Are we doing anything before bed, and are we doing anything exceptional from night till morning?
Wolf is back to his full-on manic, I've got inspiration self and everything like that. He's trying to figure things out. He's like, but when she burned me, I actually felt the pain and everything.
Are you speaking?
Yeah, he's talking, muttering to himself, and he's
Okay.
got his own bag. He's got stuff out, and he's writing things in his notebook again. This is the first time in over a week and a half that he's been doing this. He's back in his. He's back on his shit.
At least the first little bit, what I'm going to do is effectively using my psychology, but I'm going to go and get food and water and bring it to him, and essentially at a point where I think he's I'll say, oh, and you'll want to drink this.
Thank you.
Basically trick him into eating and drinking.
It's scop and water.
Yeah, so I just give him food so I know, because I'm pretty sure he hasn't really eaten very much.
No, he has not been eating much.
I'll give him food and water until he seems safe.
It's a bluish water because it has a high quantity of the doctor's meth.
Why is my eyes blue? I can see space. I can fold it in my eye.
Frankie and Raya, both of you look like you're ready to speak.
We always do watch.
We always do
And
watch.
what happens to Cephas? Did they take him?
They took him.
Okay.
Yes. So, do the 2 of you do watch together or split?
I'm Probably split.
Split.
Okay. So, anything else before I pass to Morning for anyone?
To anyone who's paying attention, Ray spends most of his time laying down, but he appears to be messing with a sort of ring, just kind of staring at it and finicking with his hand.
Was that around your neck?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys will notice again that the ring around his neck. So, next morning, and it's before sun comes up, Jabril will peek into the tent. Who's the day one? Is that going to be Frankie or Raya?
I'm the day one.
All right. So he'll come in. He speaks. He says what you're pretty sure is some form of a good morning, that type of thing. Says something else. Notices that you're not immediately responding, and then points around the room at everyone who's sleeping in different spots, and motions a food motion. His hand to his other hand. There's a plate, and then to his mouth.
I'll say thank you.
And he nods and leaves. And what do? There is no light yet.
I would probably wait to rouse people till the food came in.
And I just thought about something. I'm going to change what I just did.
Okay.
You have two Bedouins with you. You
Oh,
have
yeah.
Bess and Ra who
I
would
was about to
split
say.
with you. So they would have said to you, nope, because they can't speak
Nope.
English either.
I'd probably be up because I'd have to do morning prayer. So
Not that early. So they will say, you say, and you react, and they will speak, and then they turn to you and realize he can't tell you the one that's up, and we wait. So, but he looks at you and motions to, with his hand shaking in the
does
direction
that,
of the others.
I'll wake people up.
All right, so he nods, and you wake people up. As soon as Ayden is woken up, he waits for you to be at least enough focused that you can listen to him, and he says, they are planning to eat the meal in here. We should have everyone at least up to presentable point.
Okay. I'll start waking people up.
Okay. So the group is up. It's over a half an hour before anyone starts coming in, and they're bringing in a similar fare to from last night. There's not a whole lot of food. A lot of it is mushroom type things. Mm-hmm. There are a couple other vegetables, but it's small and fairly meager. There's no meat. There are, oddly enough, eggs. You guys have not seen chickens.
Don't like that.
Okay, but there are eggs, and I don't mean eggs with shells. I mean something that cooks and looks egg-ish. But you have not seen chickens. That's brought out. It's laid out on the table as you guys are there. Mm-hmm. The other two Bedouins that came with you have no trouble trying everything. Mm-hmm. Does anyone not eat the eggs, not eat their vegetables, and stick strictly with the scop that you brought?
Wolfe's actually pretty hungry, and he's like, there's a new verb of life again to him again. So he's like trying things at this point and saying, like, who knows, maybe something is going to happen, maybe not. He's just like, it's like he's fully back in despite his desiccated form, and the fact that there's still this constant ache, and it's clear he's not healing everything, but just the fact that there is a chance, there is life and possibility again, he's just like, I'm gonna greet this with gusto.
So is anyone not eating the eggs? And again, it's small portions, but
I'm eating and just like I have the shit-eating grin on when I look. Every time I look over at Wolfe, I'm like, yeah.
I'm gonna make a comment in case people are like weirded out. These alligator eggs are fantastic.
Okay. Did everyone hear Ayden's comment?
Specifically, I'm watching Rude. Does he do his usual thing?
In this case, no.
Okay.
As it was passed, he took a very small portion. It never came back around.
It's vegetarian, so I'll eat it.
Okay. It's not vegan, it is egg, but it is vegetarian as far as you've seen. So, is there anything else the group will do? At this point, Jabril then speaks to you, Ayden, and says, so you wish to have some of my people, and then he realizes that Billings was a part of this conversation, looks around and finds Billings, and gestures towards him, but realizes from last night that he's talking to you. He says, "You wanted to have some of my people take you to the lands of Akhenaten."
Yes.
Very good. He says, "We can be ready to go by within the hour."
All right.
That's
I will.
if you would wish.
Let's make it so.
Okay. So, anything anyone wants to do here, say here, anything within this group before we head out?
Well, I'm going to tell him since I can't understand Egyptian. So he's ready to take us to Akhenaten. So be ready in an hour.
Oh, wonderful. Out of curiosity, do you know what happened to their I keep forgetting the word.
Matasak?
Thank you, their Matasak.
I'll ask when it's like less public, more private time.
Excellent. It's just a curiosity, but I'm ready. I think it's time for us to move on.
So when I can have a couple seconds with the chief, I'll ask him about the Mataska.
Actually, you give me an etiquette roll. Telling Dr. Wright I have no problem with you telling Dr. Wright that you will ask. That doesn't bother me in any way. What do we have for etiquette?
So that'd be 18.
So yeah. So you know you wouldn't ask. So you may go over and talk to him about something else. You can go ask, but you would potentially go talk to him about something else and then go back to tell Dr. Wright some story. Or what would you like to do? But you know asking is not what you would do. They are non-people.
Okay. So I'll actually change on what I would have said to him.
All right, very
I'll
good.
say that's usually something that's not talked about publicly, being that they are non-people. If you wish, you should go to her tent, since you have seen her before.
I suppose that would be the swiftest way. Sure, I'll go to her tent.
So you walk, run.
Walk. We've got an hour. It's not that far, right?
So you leave, you walk out. There's a couple of people moving back and forth between the sleeping tent and the camel tent. You head down over the hill. Now, there are dead ghouls all over the place up here. I mean, it's not a ghoul graveyard, but my guess from what we were doing, maybe 18 or 20 dropped dead.
Dead as in I can see head wounds on them?
Well, I don't know that anyone... No, you guys went and killed him at the end. Yes, all with some form of head wound or disconnected heads.
Then they don't bother me at all.
Right. I'm just telling you that you're walking
Oh, yeah,
around
no, that's
that.
fine.
So you get down to the tent. The tent is closed, as it was before.
Hello? Basically, I know she can't understand. I'm just looking for a response or if she's inanimate.
You don't hear any noise, but the tent does not look to have been torn open or run over or anything like that. The tent looks in the same repair as from the outside as you were.
Use my cane to open the curtain.
So as you look in, she appears to be sleeping. You can see, if you watch from over, you're like, oh, she's dead. Oh, no, rise and fall of her chest.
Okay, I'm trying to see if
You only have to worry if she comes standing out of bed.
Right, stands up without
Not
bending.
to.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just frickin' Dracula levitates up.
So what I'll do is I'll take a... Actually, if I look right in the entranceway, do I see a piece of cloth that I could pull? Is there any little small things?
There is cloth on the floor in place of what I'm going to call a rug. There's cloth on the floor. There are the rags that were given to Dr. Wolfe.
Okay.
They're over there, and a few that are not bloodied.
No, you know what? I'll leave 2 things of scop there, and then a vial of 3 doses of laudanum.
Okay.
And I just kind of set it inside there.
And maybe just a hit of meth.
You know what, Michael? You're right. And a hit of meth. Because I gave her a downer, I might as well give an upper. So I give a little care package.
All right, perfect. and then leave?
Yeah, then I'll leave.
Very good. So, you guys are going to be traveling with Zaskar, or Zet. Wow. Screwing it up already. Zaysar is one of the 2 that you're traveling with. The other one is Abrax. And Jibril will tell you that at this point, they're going to lead you there They can only be gone for 2 days. They must be back for the burial service.
Bess and Raw is still coming.
Bess and Raw, yeah, are
Okay.
yours,
All right.
right? So Bess and Raw know the general locations of where you're going. The idea with this group, with Jabril's group, was the chance to actually have somebody that knew much narrower where you were going.
Okay.
So, anything else anyone's saying?
Well, when I see Dr. Wolfe in the morning, I said, "How's that leg? Is it bothering you?"
Not at all.
Okay.
Not in the slightest. Can't feel a thing.
Let me have some of your brains for a moment.
Just let me know if it bothers you at all.
So, anything anyone else wants to do?
Nothing specific.
Very good.
Only real thing Wolf's gonna do is maybe take a moment to actually look at some of his blood in actual sunlight, because he's only been seeing it in the dark for so long. Just to keep
And
it.
in the sunlight, it still has those very small. You only see it because you know that you're looking for it.
Yep, and got a magnifying glass and just like,
With the magnifying glass, you can see it much more. And if you look at the vial that Dr. Wright took the night before, or that you pulled and gave to him, same situation.
Yeah, and it's just...
So whatever is in there is still in there. It hasn't gone away. It hasn't appeared to have gotten more, but it certainly has not gotten to be less.
It's still strange with what's going on with the cells there, because there's far more than there should be. And it's just very interesting. Now, there's a new revitalization in him.
Very good. So the group camels up, and as you know, you guys are going to be heading south towards Mourner. As the camels go, and as you start walking, or riding, Ray, would you give me a wits perception roll?
That is going to be a 15.
So as you guys are heading out of camp, Ray, you're going to realize you're heading west, and we'll stop there.
Oh. Wait a minute.
I don't like that.
We gotta kill these guys now.
You're heading west. We're going...
It's a tarp.
Thank you for listening to another NCRP Productions podcast. To stay on top of everything we're doing, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and like us on Facebook, all at NCRP Productions. You can show your support and help us continue to produce content by joining our Patreon. We offer additional podcasts like our B-sides and have GM materials, maps, and other fun things you can discover over time. You can find our podcasts on YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google, and many other fine podcast sites. Just look for us at NCRP Productions. We value your thoughts, so please don't hesitate to leave us feedback or comments. And if you would like to contact us directly, you can email us at ncrpproductions@gmail.com.